Hello everybody and welcome to another episode. In today's episode I am going to show you how to properly remove and replace the front fenders from any Audi A4 base 7 out there. So right here I have this Audi. I think this one is made in the year 2006 and the front fenders are looking very bad on this car. They're in a very bad condition, they have a lot of rust, and this is why I decided to replace them with brand new ones. As you can see, the fenders have a lot of rust, even in the upper portion of the fender. The rust did came through the metal, and this is why I decided to replace them with brand new ones. The owner of this car brought me these brand new fenders, but the worst part is that the brand new fenders don't have the exact color of the car, but now it's too late for it. He already bought them, he already brought it to me, and now I'm going to install them on the car. Even if the color is not exactly like the one from the car, I'm going to install them on the car anyway. Right here from this view, I hope you all can see that the color is not exactly like the one from the car. This one is a little bit darker from the fender and the car is a little bit lighter, but that's it. We have to do what we have to do. So as you can see right here, this is how the brand new fender is looking. And if you want to remove the fenders on this kind of Audi, and especially on any car made by Volkswagen, you'll have to remove the front bumper, you'll have to remove the fenders, you'll have to remove the under shield and the shield which is mounted into the upper position of the wheels. I mean the dust protection of the wheels, you have to remove them also, and only after that you can have access to the bolts which are securing the fenders mounted to the car. Alright everybody, so with all of these things being said, it's time for me to lift the car up. I recommend all to lift both of the front wheels up and remove the wheels. After that we have to open the hood and remove the screws from under the dust protection of the wheel. After that we have to remove the front bumper, and in the last we have to remove the fenders from the car. Right here on the driver's side, the fender is looking even worse than on the passenger side, and as you can see there is a big hole right here, and the owner did try to hide it with some duct tape. But now it's time for me to install the brand new fenders on the car and get rid of this problem. Alright everybody, so as you can see, I removed both of the front wheels from the car. I placed the car on a jack stand to support the weight of it, and now I have a lot of access to the dust protection of the wheel. I can remove all the plastics from under the fenders, and I can remove the fenders from the car. So as you can see, those are all the plastics which you'll have to remove. You'll have a lot of screws which are securing even the front bumper to it. You'll have a lot of screws which are securing these plastics mounted to the fender. And after you remove all of these plastics out from the car, you can remove the bolts which are securing the fenders mounted to the car. I just finished removing all the screws which are securing the dust protection of the wheel mounted to the fender, and now I can just pull them out from the vehicle. Alright everybody, so as you can see, the dust protection of the wheel is out from the vehicle, and now the next step which you have to do is to clean the area. You have to remove the bumper from the car, and as you can see you'll have a lot of dirt right here, but if you clean them you'll have access to the screws which are securing the fender mounted to the car. Right here you have this little sponge on the left side which you have to remove, and right here on the right side you have the front bumper mounted to the car. You have to remove this 10mm bolt from right here from the corner. You have to remove it completely, and after that you have one more bolt right here which you have to remove using a Torx 25. You'll have to remember that anything you are doing in one side of the car, you'll have to do the exact same thing on the other side. So in my case, I'll have to remove the exact same thing on the other side of the car and remove the exact same bolts from the exact same locations. Okay everybody, so I just finished removing the plastics from the left side and also from the right side, and now I have to remove the front bumper from the car. To remove the front bumper, you'll have to remove those 3 screws from right here from the top of the grill, and as you can see I already removed them. And after that, you'll have to go right here inside the wheel arch, and you'll have to remove the same bolts from the left side which are securing the bumper mounted to the fender. This is the turn signal which is mounted right here into the fender and is mounted into the little light which you'll have to pull out from the fender. To remove this little plastic part from the fender, you'll have to push this metal clip from right corner. You'll have to push it inside and it will come out from the fender. In this way, you will unlock it from the fender and you can pull it out from the car. The next step which you'll have to do is to remove this bolt from right here and this one from right here, which are securing the bumper mounted to the fender. I removed it from this side, I also removed it from the other side, and now I have to remove the bolts from under the bumper, which are securing the bumper mounted to the car. Right here, as you can see, I have the turn signal which is mounted into the fender, and to remove it you have to push this metal clip from the turn signal. You have to push it, and in this way it will release the turn signal and it will come out from the fender. After that you have to pull the little light from it. You can just pull it out straight and it will come out from its place. In my case, for example, it's a little bit harder to do it with one hand, but it can be done. Okay everybody, so moving on with the job, the next step which you have to do is to remove this screw from right here. You'll have to remove all this dirt, and after that it will reveal the screw which normally is securing the fender right here. In my case, because the fender is broken in this area, I don't have to worry about it, but normally you'll have to remove this screw because otherwise the fender won't come out from the car. After that we have 2 more screws right underneath this position at the lowest point of the car. You'll have to remove those 2 screws, and after that you have to remove this screw from right here and the other one from right here, which is securing this sponge mounted to the car. So as you can see, one screw is right here in the right side and the other one is right here in the top part. You'll have to remove those 2 screws, and after that this sponge will come out from the fender. You want to be very careful with this little sponge, because if you break it, the water can get into the door or into the harnesses of the door, and you don't want this. Make sure to remove it in one piece. Make sure to not pull it very hard, because in this way probably you are risking of breaking it, so just take in mind that you have to work very carefully with it. So after you remove the sponge from the fender, it will reveal the 3 screws which are securing the fender mounted to the car in this area. So as you can see, you'll have one bolt at the top right there, which you have to remove by opening the door, and the last 2 bolts are right here, and after that you have 3 more bolts right here in the lower side. Right now the next step which I'm going to do is to remove the 4 bolts from the top of the fender, and after that I'm going to remove the front bumper to reveal the last bolts which are securing the fender mounted to the car. To remove all the bolts which are securing the fender mounted to the car, you'll have to use the Torx 30. So to remove the bumper from the car, you'll have to remove 3 more bolts which are mounted right here underneath the front bumper. In my case, I already removed it, so I have to remove the front bumper now completely out from the car. On the car which I'm working on right here, this car has a headlight washer system, and because of that I want to remove the bumper completely out from the car. I will remove it, but I will pull it just a little bit forward to have access to the fenders. Because I don't want to disconnect the headlight washer system, I will have to remove the hoses. If I want to disconnect it, all the fluid from the headlight washer system will leak down, so I don't want this. I'm going to pull it just a little bit further away from the fenders, and I will work like this. If you, for example, don't have a headlight washer system, you can just pull it out completely from the car. You have to disconnect only the cables from the fog lights, and that's it. Okay everybody, so the front bumper is removed away from the car. This is how everything is looking so far, and right here I have all the system which is mounted on the headlight washer system. So as you can see, I have a lot of hoses, a lot of cables. I don't want to disconnect them, because if I want to disconnect them, I will lose a lot of fluid, and I don't want this. I don't want to break anything, so in my case I don't want to remove it completely from the car, because in this way I also have a lot of space to work on the fenders. So like I said earlier, if you don't have a headlight washer system, you'll have to only remove the cables from the fog lights, and the bumper will come out completely from the car. Moving on with the job, the next step which you'll have to do is to remove 3 screws which are securing the fender mounted to the car. You'll have 2 more right here, the bigger ones, and you'll have 1 more right here underneath, which is securing this plastic clip mounted to the fender. And you'll have to transfer this plastic clip to the new fender, which you'll have to install on the car. Also, you'll have to remove the exact same screws from the other side in the exact same location. This is how everything is looking on this side, the exact same screws, the exact same size. You'll have to remove them completely out from the fender if you want to remove the fender completely out from the car. After that, probably the last bolt which you'll have to remove from the fender is the one from right here, and to reach it you'll have to open the door, and only after you open the door you'll have access to the last bolt which is securing the fender mounted to the car. As you can see, it's mounted right here. You'll have to remove it, and after that you have to pull the fender out from the vehicle. Alright everybody, so all the bolts which are securing the fender mounted to the car are removed, and now the only thing which you have to do is to pull the fender out from the car. You'll have to wiggle it just a little bit left and right, and it will come out from the car. Just make sure to not scratch the door or the other parts of the car. From here, the next step which I'm going to do is to clean the area a little bit. I'm going to prepare all the parts which I'm going to install back on the car, and I'm going to install the new fender back on the car. Right here, as you can see, this is the fender which I just removed from the vehicle, and the upper portion of the fender it's not rusted at all, but the middle portion and the lower portion of the fender is very rusted, and this is why I had to replace it right away. In this corner you'll have 2 plastic clips, and normally if you are able to, you'll have to remove them and you'll have to transfer them to the new fender which you're going to install on the car. In my case, I'm not going to transfer them because I have brand new little clips which I'm going to put on the fender. Alright everybody, so as you can see, the new fender is installed back on the vehicle, all the screws are installed, the fender is looking very good, all the lines are straight, also the distance between the door and the fender is perfectly, the door is opening very easy, is not hitting into the fender, so this is very important. Make sure to align it properly, make sure to put it as straight as possible. And as you can see, I'm almost done with installing it completely back on the car. I only have to put a little sponge from between the car and the fender. After that I'm going to install the turn signal and I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side with the other fender. Just look how nice the lines are between the door and the fender. The door is opening very easy, it's not hitting into the fender. In my opinion, everything is installed like from the factory. So like I said earlier, I only have to install the turn signal into the fender, and after that I'm going to install the sponge part, which I have right here, and most likely the job will be done very easy. Right now I'll go on the other side, I'm going to do the exact same thing with the other fender, and I'm going to show you all exactly how everything is looking so far. Alright everybody, so as you can see, both of the front fenders are installed back on the vehicle. Everything is secured and it's installed like from the factory. I installed the sponge part between the fender and the car. I installed the turn signals. So from here the next step which I'm going to do is to put back the dust protection of the wheel, and after that I'm going to install back the front bumper, and most likely the job will be done very easy and fast. As you can see, this is all I have to do so far. This is also how everything should be looking on your car. And right now let's check the fitting with the hood. As you can see, the line between the hood and the fender is perfectly, it's as straight as possible. The distance is so small, everything is installed like it's supposed to be installed from the factory. So this is also what you have to do on the car, and this is also how everything should be looking on your car. Very good everybody, the job is done. This is the final product and this is how the car is looking so far. Everything is installed and is mounted like it's supposed to be mounted from the factory. And as you can see, there is a very big difference between the color of the car and between the color of the fender, but it is what it is. Thank you all for watching. This is how to remove the front fenders and replace them on any Audi A4, B7, doesn't matter which year it is. If you like the video and found it informative, please leave a like and a comment down below. See you next time.